Chris, thanks very much for joining us ahead of the Huddersfield game. I'll start by asking you how you reflect on the point at Wrexham. I know you said it was mixed emotions for you after the game, but how important a result could that be come the end of the season?
Yeah, I think it was. I think the game itself, analysing it back, it was not too dissimilar to how I felt during the game. I think for the first 70 minutes, it was us playing all the football. It was almost them trying to stop us. You know, I know they scored a good goal, in fairness to Rathbone, but we recovered from that and scored ourselves. And I felt it was us trying to take the initiative, and they were kind of stopping us. We were pressing it well, getting it back, going again, but we couldn't create enough clear chances with the possession we were having. And then, obviously, in the last sort of 15-20 minutes, then when Fletcher and Mullin came on, there was more balls going forward and a bit more danger from them and a few set pieces, and we had to sort of survive that period and defend our box a bit more. So at that point, you say, well, we don't want to lose this game. So I think the bigger picture for us is it was a good point. You know, away from home, you're always looking at making sure that you don't get beat and you can try and make an impact and get a result. And I think overall we did that. Things for us to learn about the game. Definitely, I've spoke to the players about that. But overall, looking at the other results, of course, this weekend as well, then we have to say that it's a good point.
Of course, that result carried on the unbeaten run as well. We've spoken a bit about that, but for that to reach 15 games now, does that show a real consistency about the side?
Well, it does. I mean, you only have to look, as I said, at the other results this weekend in this league. I've said it from the very start. You know, at any level, it's not easy, but this league in particular, every other manager I speak to would say that it's all the teams in League One are competitive now. It's not that sort of bottom 10 that you think, well, they're well short, and then there's a few big clubs at the top that are good. There's a real threat in each team now, and to go that many games unbeaten is full credit to the players, because during the winter months as well, where you have to grind it out and go again, and we've had injuries and everything, we've had to use all the squad. Full credit to them, and it's not easy to go on a run like that. And certainly on my part, I can see the work that they're putting in to achieve results like that.
We announced this morning the arrival of Kieran Dows. His footballing CV is very, very impressive to look at. What's your assessment of his abilities?
Yeah, I think I was excited when his name was mentioned, because I've followed his career from when he was young. I think he's got creativity, he's got that little bit of invention in his game, and felt like it's something that at times we could do with. Williamson's good in those little pockets and making a little disguised pass or a bit of cleverness. I think Kieran's good in that respect. He's had promotions on his CV, he's been at big clubs, he's coming from a big club where there's an expectation every week, as we've seen with Ben and Scott Wright, that they've had, Tomoki coming from Celtic. That's always, for me, bodes well because of the sort of expectations we have this season here. So I was excited to get him in, and he's been training with us a couple of days, and you can see, or a day now, and you can see his quality.
Yeah, he's been playing quite regularly for Rangers as well this season. Like you say, been involved at some top clubs. Is he just another example of this club being able to attract those top quality players? Yeah,
I mean, speaking to him as I've done, I got the sense when I speak to these players, sometimes you sort of can't believe in some ways that they're thinking about coming to League One, but it's a bit like a lot of people that have joined this journey, if you like. They're thinking about the club. They're thinking about the direction of this club is going in. That every player I talk to, they know how big this club is and what kind of direction it's travelling in. So it doesn't take too much convincing, and that's a great sign. But equally, to get a player that has been playing at Rangers this season, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of clubs interested in him, is a good sign for us.
And would he potentially be available for tomorrow as well?
From what I understand, I was waiting on full confirmation in terms of the clearances, but I think that's all done now.
Fantastic. Do you expect to have a little bit more of a selection headache now with his inclusion as well, especially in those attacking midfield options when everyone is fit?
Yeah, I mean, if we ever get to the utopia moment of everyone being fit, then it will be a big headache. But as I've said all along, we've very rarely got to that point. So, but I do want that. I want that to be, so every day in training it's competitive and they're trying to show that they should be playing. And then when they get a chance in the game, competition is the best coach, because that's the motivator for the players. So, good as far as I'm concerned. And there will be competition for places in that area, and they're all going to get their opportunity to play.
Just going back to Thursday's game as well, Christoph Clara had another standout performance. Has he been a prime example of how good the recruitment process has been in your time here so far? Yeah,
I mean, we signed so many players. You're never going to get them all right, but I'd say we've I would say, looking back at the players, we've had a good window there, because you can get a lot wrong, and sometimes about keeping them out, not getting them in. And he's a good example of that. I mean, his profile was clear, but we did all the work on him. We watched him a lot. We spoke with him. We went through where he's at in his career, and would he suit what we're trying to do and everything. And he ticked every box, and then he came in, and he's been exceptional. And what the fans don't see and people don't see is what he's like behind the scenes. He's the first one in training. If something's not quite going right, it will voice up and sort of demand more from other players, and in a good way. He's a popular member of the squad, but he's very professional. And in a match day, he's been there every time. We've been challenged physically. He's a real leader for us. So I think it's been an excellent signing.
Yeah, from what you said about him there, I imagine it's an easy decision to give him that captain's armband as well in the absence of Christian. Definitely.
I mean, it's one of those things. The players always just almost make that decision for me, just for their behaviours and their leadership qualities. And it was pretty obvious straight away that he's a leader. Obviously we've got our captain, it's Chris Bielik, but when he's not there, then Chris Clara's a really good captain.
Yeah, just on Chris Bielik as well, he got a few more minutes in the game against Wrexham. How is his recovery going, and when could he potentially do a full 90?
Yeah, good. He's going well. Again, like a few of them, what's happened with them, they've had some injuries, a couple of weeks out, and then you sort of bring them back into the games before they've had much training, so they're almost getting fit through playing the games. He's had a cameo role and coming off the bench against Exeter, then he's had another short period against Wrexham, so he's building up, but he hasn't had the training that sometimes it's necessary. So to answer your question, he's fit and available and ready to go, and he's going to be an important player for us moving forward.
Would you say that's the same story for Keshi Anderson as well? He had a massive impact when he came off the bench as well.
Well, he did, and Keshi, I think, displayed against Wrexham how quickly he got up to the speed of the game was pretty impressive for a player coming back from injury. He's been out for a bit longer than Chris as well, so I thought he displayed that really well, and again, he's in a similar position.
Just finally on the injuries, of course, Peck and Iwata have missed the last two. Are either of them in contention for tomorrow?
Yeah, so Tomoki's had a good few days training now. Again, it was nothing major with Tomoki, but he's been building up the last few days, so he's available.
Looking at Huddersfield themselves, they've made up some real ground on the top three recently, especially in December. How do you assess their threat?
I think they've been very good. I mean, they started the season slowly when we played them. I think they've been on a bad run, and then we beat them, and then they just went on an incredible run pre-Christmas. Again, not a big surprise to me. I always saw, looking at their squad, coming down from the Championship, their ambition, you always thought they'd be one of the top teams, and that's no surprise to me. They are where they are. Some of their players look strong for this level. And, away from home, Huddersfield away, any league, any time is a tough game, so I'm expecting to be a big challenge.
Just finally, it's going to be another sold-out away end at what's quite a big ground at the John Smiths as well. Are you really looking forward to that atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, to go to away games and see our away support is a highlight for me. I love it when we go to the games and I hear them singing and we look out and see them all there. It's a massive help to the team. Makes us feel home from home, really, to have them all there. So yeah, we'll be there with them tomorrow, and hopefully we can do them proud.
Gav, thank you very much.
Thank you.